Political panel time. Let me introduce them to you. Democratic strategist Jim Kessler, Republican strategist Mark Bednar. All right, let's file this under Who Asked You? Ted Cruz, senator from Texas. Welcome back. Political panel time. Let me introduce them to you. Democratic strategist Jim Kessler, Republican strategist Mark Bednar. All right, let's file this under Who Asked You? Ted Cruz, senator from Texas, endorsed at the weekend in South Carolina, Alan Wilson, the attorney general in the governor's race, and Rick Jackson, running for Georgia governor, neither of which was endorsed by President Trump. What is Ted Cruz up to?
Well, so he's always kind of done this. So we built our House majority, its current form right now, over the course of several cycles. And many steps of the way, Ted Cruz would endorse against us, and we'd beat him. And we're like, why are you getting involved? Right here, this seems to be, especially in Georgia, where both Brian Kemp and President Trump, who don't always agree on a lot, they've teamed up together to support Burt Jones. The fact that Cruz is going the other way, this is a gamble. It's very, who knows if it's going to work, but this is clearly an attempt to go against the grain to try to do a kind of a political audience that he doesn't have right now.
And Jim, this is just product differentiation. You've got to do that. You've got to be something different if you're Ted Cruz.
Yeah, look, he's obviously interested in running in 2028.
No doubt.
And the only way, he's a long shot.
Very much so.
The only way he wins is if it's a change election within the Republican Party.
Right.
And you're going to have Vance and Rubio who are going to be like, stay the course in some sort of way. And so he's making some long shot bets. He's a calculating guy. I'm not saying that in a negative sort of way. I'm just saying like everyone calculates. He calculates. So I think he's just putting his chips in places where maybe it pays off. I wouldn't bet on the guy, but that's what he's doing.
Alaska Senate race had an interesting development today. There were two Dan Sullivans momentarily on the ballot, not any longer, because the Alaska Division of Elections today decided to remove Republican Senator candidate Daniel J. Sullivan from the ballot because he, according to the Division of Elections, did not declare an actual good faith candidacy, but was instead filed with a purpose to confuse or mislead and thereby compromise the ballot's fairness or neutrality. So the real Dan Sullivan, the senator, the incumbent, on the ballot by himself.
Right, and obviously the other Dan Sullivan, he has the opportunity to appeal this decision. Right. So we're going to have to see where that goes. But Dan Sullivan,
some low-level suggestion he was a stalking horse for Democrats to muddy the waters.
Right, and Senator Sullivan said as much as well. Obviously, this is going to be a top-tier race for both parties going into this cycle. The fact that now this sort of dust-up has now cleared, this is helpful to the senator from Alaska, the real Dan Sullivan. I guess I don't even know how to say it. But this is a good development for him. This means that he can focus his attention on the Democrats, and we can perhaps deploy our resources.
And Jim, I guess from your perspective, the only thing that matters is Alaska's in play.
Alaska is in play, and Mary Peltola is a good candidate. She's won statewide before. It is a very bad environment for Republicans right now. She is running on very, very local issues there. It's an interesting race. And their mantra is she only cares about Alaska. She only cares about Alaska. And Senator Sullivan is wrapped up in the Washington, D.C. fights and the Trump fights. And, that's how they're waging this race. And it's pretty smart.
So last night at the White House, you folks might have heard something about this. There was a very large UFC event. I didn't watch it. I watched World Cup and Stanley Cup finals. My parent company had it on streaming. I will probably get a letter in triplicate in my file for not watching it. And if I do get that letter, I promise I will read every word out loud on this program. And it went really well. I mean, by all accounts, I didn't watch it, but I read the fights were great, huge attendance, lots of people watching from the outside. But Josh Hokett, I don't know if that's the proper pronunciation, said after winning, lastly, Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America? Today, Dana White told Time magazine, everyone knows my position on free speech, but I hate that kind of nonsense. Very much a downbeat note on what was supposed to be a big celebration for 250 America and President Trump on his 80th birthday.
Well, yeah, Major, you're kind of proving the point. We're not even exactly sure how to pronounce this guy's name.
Right.
And the mere fact that, that overshadowed what was a spectacular performance, great event, great job by everybody involved. That's super unfortunate, and the fact that that's part of the conversation right now.
Totally unnecessary.
Totally repugnant, completely unnecessary, and overshadowing a great event that the president put on.
Jim, you get the last word.
What do you expect? You know, I mean, and this is similar to the Dan Sullivan thing, and I don't think Democrats put him up to it. Like, people are trying to do things to get viral and be known and draw attention to themselves, and, you know, this happened in the White House.
Jim Kessler, Mark Bednar, appreciate the time. Thanks so much.